Hey, 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 good evening, good evening. It is Tuesday night, September the 9th, and we got a couple things. Let me open up prayer. Let me open in prayer first. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this day, and I just thank you that you may pour out and open up their ears, eyes, and hearts to receive whatever it is you want them to learn tonight. I just pray for miracles to be happening all over, and that we learn to reach up to you and have you guide us with your wisdom on every decision that we make in our life. I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, so let's get started. Let's get started. I'm so excited, actually. I'm really excited. Now, you know, I kind of was trying to figure out what I was going to train on. Maybe I need my light here. That might make it a little bit better, but it just gets bright. There we go. I was trying to figure out what I was going to train on. However, I got a couple things. First of all, um, I was on a director call or the Mary Kay National Area call, and one of the gals that became a director really fast. She what she did is to switch gears from being a consultant to actually being a director. Well, a couple of things happened. Her husband lost his job. She started having to work. She has five kids, has five kids. Did you count that? Five. One, two, three, four. Five kids. Husband lost his job. So she had to move into director mode um, ASAP because they needed the money for the household because he didn't have a job. So what she did is she printed up these Mary Kay skincare surveys and she went out, these Mary Kay, I can put the PDF up there, Mary Kay skincare surveys, and she passed these out to people. She didn't give a sample. This pretty much asks for their name. It says their name, their phone number, email. I prefer text or call, their age. Do you use a skincare system? No or yes. And the brand. Have you tried Mary Kay? No or yes. Do you currently have a Mary Kay consultant? No or yes. Which of the following would be of interest to you? New product test panel, fountain of youth, age fighting skincare clinic, on trend makeup for the season and basic skincare, or hosting a girls' day or night out party in my home. And you notice in her home, not at their home. And then I would like more information about earning some fun money with Mary Kay or leadership and management position. She went out and got names and numbers. That's how she built her unit and got customers. She just passed these out and people filled them out. People filled them out. She would book them for appointments. She added them to her team. She became a director. So that's what she did. And she ended up with, I think, 43 or 45 in her unit when she finished. And so she became a unit just by passing out skincare surveys. Now I'm going to put the PDF. I know that Janice Trude had challenged us to pass out samples for an hour a day for 20 days in a row, but I can't see passing out samples unless you're going to get names and numbers to follow up with the samples. And so I'm like over passing out samples because I've done the pampering packs and haven't gotten a large response back with the feedback from that. However, these would be simple. Go out half hour, hour a day and get surveys. And you'd be building your customer base like there's no tomorrow or your team. With that being said about customer base, PCP deadline is due in 2 days. 2 days. Normally it's the 15th or the 16th or the 15th of the month. It's due on the 11th. If you have not done your PCP, I encourage you to add at least one person on there. I think I've mailed out stuff. I'm sure my office has mailed out stuff. I'm going to send a text message out to remind, but I can only remind you so many times. And it's up to you to take the step and do it. It's not up to me to keep going up to the last minute of the last minute, sending you text messages to remind you. It's up to you, you big girls. We're all big girls here. It's up to you to mark it on your calendar, sit down and figure it out. I had to actually weed through, and I'm going to share some wisdom here, weed through my customer base because um, let me, let me see if I can, let me show you. Let me see if I can show you this. I don't know if I can make this a YouTube video because I'm showing my customers. Um, no, I won't show you that because I can't make it a YouTube video if I show my, um, well, maybe if I show my reports um, on my PCP. And I'm not bragging here, but I went in and I actually downsized my PCP list because it's 95 cents a name, right? Let me see if I can get everybody in here. 95 cents a name plus tax. Okay, so figure that out. Let me do this. Even though I'm not sharing sound. And then we'll get started with training. Okay, so I can see who does PCP. Congratulations to Paula Garcia, Felicia Garcia. She has done PCP. Okay, if you look up here at the top, mine that I just did was 137. Last quarter, 242. The quarter before that, 255. The quarter before that, 270. Do you see that? I've decreased it. Why? Because it's Christmas. And not that the products coming out aren't good. The products are coming out as good. I have to take the time to physically call and text these people to make sure they get their book. Now, how I do it is how I've decreased it. I make sure on my list that I have emails and they can get one digitally. They can get a book digitally. Not that they all read the emails, but I can always text them a digital book. But people sometimes like an in-person book. So what I did is I went through my list, anybody that didn't have an email or some of my really good customers that order every quarter, I sent a book to. So I downsized it from 240 something to 137. So it just, I'm going to see how it goes. And then I have to go through my stack of new people and see if, make sure that they have their email. We have to get this in check. We have to do the My Shop. You have to get your customers lined out and make sure you have an email address for them. Make sure you have a phone number, cell phone number for them in order for it to transfer and migrate over to the My Shop. Otherwise, they won't. And then you're going to be sorry. So I've harped on it enough and I'm not going to do it anymore. It's coming. You know what? By next Monday is the 15th. You guys, it's going to happen on the 16th. 16th and at 10 p.m. It's going to shut down and it's going to be back up on the 17th. And it's going to be all switched over. So I hope and I pray that you're taking the warning and you're doing something about it. Because I can't hold your hand. Can't hold your hand. Can't hold your hand. You know what I mean? So I hope you do something about it. Okay, so with that being said, PCP, the My Shop, you guys should all have that in line. And I could teach you how to book, coach, sell, and recruit. I could teach you how to sell. It's the holidays. We should sell. Okay, so this week tomorrow I have an event at Brookdale. I'm going to go 10 to 1, and then at 2 o'clock I have a makeover here. On Friday, I'll probably hit the streets on Thursday and hit a few spots to figure out where I can sell my gifts on the road, on the way or on the show, whatever. It's a pop-up is what it is. It's a pop-up. I take it, I fill my trunk, I put it on black velvet, take it, go to places and try to sell. And then Friday, I'm going to be at the Poorhouse Bar and Grill from 11 till 1. So I'll be selling there. I already got the okay to come in there on Friday. And so that's how I'm going to do it. I have another senior home next Tuesday, another senior home on Wednesday. But I have to hit the streets and sell it because people get paid. People will get paid. This is the second Friday of the month. People might get paid. They might not get paid till the 19th. Whatever the case. I don't know. Some people get paid. Some of the tire stores get paid. on a Wednesday or a Thursday, and it might be this week. It might be the following week. I'm not sure. I have to go check and see when their pay period is, and then see if there is something they want me to hold for them, and then I'll come back. So selling, it's the selling season right now. Selling, 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 and I still only have about $900 worth of gifts to sell, and so I will get that sold. Hopefully by the 17th on my last pop up, everything will be gone. But you guys, I can teach you how to do all that. However, um, you have to take the initiative to take the step forward to get the stuff together, get the products, to get it together, to actually ask people. You actually have to ask people to purchase it, to buy it. Do they need anything? I'm going to just tell you that the people are buying. People are buying, and I'll let you know how it goes this week. After tomorrow and Friday, Thursday, and Friday, I'm going to hit the streets. I only work for a couple hours when I hit the streets, 2 to 3 hours at the most, and then I'm done. Like 11 to 1, that's it. That's all I do. And then I'm tired after that. So, anyway, so there's enough of that. So I'm going to jump. I want you to actually expand your vision a little bit. I talked about being all my $1 million girlfriends were at Nemacolin. Nemacolin. I can't even talk. Nemacolin. $1 million retreat. You have to be a $1 million director to go, or you have to be in a pink Cadillac and a $1 million director will invite you to go. If they like you, they'll invite you to go. So you could stretch your thinking, think bigger, be with the big girls. They do this every other year. So the next year will be in 2027. Now, I either need to be in a pink Cadillac so I can stretch and go, and somebody will invite me, or we need to be a $1 million unit. There's only one way to go. So I'm going to go ahead and play the training from my girlfriend. She actually trained on it on her training meeting last night. And she is my girlfriend from way back in the day. And I hang out and I see these people that do the $1 million, or they do they're trip directors. All my friends, I want to say a lot of my friends, not every single one of them, a lot of my friends are trip directors and $1 million directors. I would love to be there. But the voice at the back of my head says, Valerie, you don't deserve to be there. No, we talked about that in our Bible study, and that's another topic. I've been getting on doing a little Bible study for you guys. And if you don't want me to do it, then let me know and I won't do it, because I take time out of my day to actually pour into you, because that's what God wants me to do. And if I had time, I would play the director meeting from Angels. It's the Angels is a group. Julia Garner Monday. Julia Monday Garner. It was the Heels of Faith. And Ari Hathaway, one of my favorites from Florida. She's the one that you guys don't know who she is. I know you don't. But one year I went to leadership conference and she trained us. She just became a national. She trained us. And she said how she became a national. She did 100 faces a month in, month out, month in, month out. She became a national. And I thought to myself, 100 faces. Wow. And you've heard me tell a story. 100 faces. Wow. That's all I need to do. 100 faces. Lo and behold, I came back from leadership tracking that 100 faces. I didn't get 100, but I did get 99. I did get 95 the next month. So I was tracking that, doing a lot of faces. However, I wasn't getting the recruits that I wanted, but I was doing the work. And if I would have continued doing the work, it would have came around. But for some reason I stopped. I don't know why, but she's the one that did that. And I kept my tracking sheets that showed me, so it can remind me that I did do the work. And I did do the work. That's how I got all the customers that I have. I went in to do my PCP and it says I have 400 and something customers in there, and I only picked 137 to get a book. I'm going like, 400, where'd that come from? Because I keep entering people's names in every time I facial them. If they purchase, If they purchase, they go in my database. If they don't purchase and I just facial them, they do not go in my database. So let me just tell you, I have facialed probably over, well, I know it's been over 5,000 because I can look at my Boulevard. It'll tell me how many I have in my customers and how many I have in the other list. And it's over 5,000 people. So that's why I have the customers that I have. That's why I facial that many people. So you facial that many people. Let me see what you can do. Facial 1,000 people. Facial 100 people in the next 2 months, 3 months, 30 faces a month. That's 30, 60, 90. So it'd be a little over 3.5 months. And let me see where you're at. You'll be so much farther than you are right now. You wouldn't even believe. You'll have so much in sales, so many new team members that you wouldn't even believe. But anyway, so let's talk about Nemacolin. Um, my dream is to want to go there. That's my dream. That's one of my dreams. So it's beautiful, but I'm going to go ahead and share the video with you so you can see it. And I just want you to dream big. Okay? Hold on. Let me start it.
All right, hey everybody, it's Cleta the Cheetah here. It's December the 8th, 2025, and I just got back from the greatest Mary Kay week ever. I'm not kidding you. I was very privileged to be invited again for the fourth time to the $1 million reunion they have at this amazing resort called Nemacolin. It's in Farmington, Pennsylvania. Honestly, it looks like a Hallmark movie. And it even so much so that when I drove up there, we left on Monday, my husband and I got a call from a friend of mine, Lisa Ann, and she's like, listen, they're expecting 4 or 5 inches of snow. You need to get as far as you can. We were going to go halfway because it's like 11 hours. But no, 11, let's see, we left at 1. No, 13, 14 hours, whatever it was. Anyway, we drove till 2 o'clock in the morning. We just drove all the way there. And so we got to the hotel. It had not snowed. We got up in the morning. Everything has snow on it. And like, I mean, like 4 or 5 inches on my car. And so it was, I mean, when you live in the South like me, it was so beautiful. It was like Winter Wonderland. I'm like, wow. And so then we had a little 20-minute drive to the resort. This resort is like one of these five-star resorts. We had our own private butler. Thank you very much. That would come in and draw your bath, and bring warm cookies and iron your clothes, unpack your clothes, and put them back in your suitcase if you wanted to. I mean, there was all this list of stuff they would do. And so, anyway, that's the kind of hotel it was. And I was there, I guess it was 8 years ago, and they it was called the Chateau. There's different places you can stay, and then it went to total renovation. And so these rooms were all electronic, like everything was run with an iPad. So like to turn off any light, dim it, brighten it, it was all by an iPad on the wall. Of course, your toilet did everything, but pull your pants back up. So anyway, this room was so amazing. This huge chandelier. But that's not what I really want to tell you about. I've wasted a lot of time telling you about that. But it was the place was amazing. You have to be invited by a $1 million director or a national who did million when she was a sales director. And so I was invited by Kathy Bill, who was my friend Holly Sherritt's sales director. I was so honored to get to go again this year. And quite honestly, before I went, I thought, you've been in 40 years. This is your fourth one. What you gonna really learn? I mean, do y'all ever say that? That you're fixing to go to a conference, like, what could I really learn? Or maybe your husband says that to you. What could you really learn? But I knew I needed to be there. I knew I wanted to be there for sure. And when I left, I thought, wow, I really did not know how much I needed it. And I decided today, it took me several hours, but I literally went over all of my notes, pages and pages, and I've done a recap for y'all. If I don't get done in time, I'll just cut it off and we'll finish it next week. Okay. But I did a recap and a PowerPoint but guess who's going to get the most out of it? Me, because I went over all my notes again and I typed them out. And so, anyway, I hope you enjoy it. Some of it was more geared towards someone becoming a $1 million director or becoming an NSD, but most of it was for all of us because I feel like any of you that are watching this are leaders. Because if you weren't, you probably wouldn't even get on these calls. Am I right? Yeah, you're a leader because leaders show up to things. So I'm going to share this with you, and I hope you'll enjoy it. And we'll try to get through as much as we can tonight till I get tired of talking or y'all get tired of listening. Okay. First of all, I want y'all to see this. This is where we stayed. It's absolutely beautiful. Our room was right about here, right about here. And so just a beautiful room. When it was all lit up, you just wouldn't believe it. And so just absolutely gorgeous. And so the $1 million reunion theme was built to lead. And the verse that was kind of the synopsis of it was Isaiah 43:19. Behold, I'm doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. So you guys, I've always loved that verse. I remember different years that's been like my theme. I'm doing a new thing. I just love it. I love the verse, and I'm so glad that they had that. And this "you are the fix," I'm gonna talk about that in a minute. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna go over some different things that people said that really impacted me. I'm gonna go over every single bit of it, but I wanted to make sure I got this in here because this was a little bit of an aha moment to me. Ari Hathaway, as National Sales Director, interviewed Gloria Mayfield Banks, who is a National Sales Director Emeritus. She has been retired for, I believe, 2 years, maybe four. Anyway, I can't remember exactly. But anyway, she said she's been retired. Was one of the top highest paying national sales directors in Mary Kay. And of course, she has a lot of knowledge, and a lot of companies are wanting to have hired her. And, she's done a lot of coaching and she does a lot of different things. Well, anyway, so they already interviewed her and said, what have you learned? Like, since you've been out, what can you tell us? So these are some of the things that really stood out to me. First of all, she said, I want y'all to know Mary Kay is the gold standard in the beauty industry. She said, and they said, what? She said, what we do impacts the whole world globally because we have 40 countries, right? And what we do shapes the beauty industry. People are looking at us and wanting to know what's Mary Kay doing. Okay, we are number one, but I don't think we realize it. Okay, so she was asked, what makes us different? Why why are we successful and have had 63 years of success in Mary Kay when other companies have not made the test of time or don't sell as much or whatever? So one of the things she said is that we have God, family, career is the bold statement Mary Kay Ash did that said it 62 something years ago. Okay. And other people, and we do it in a way that doesn't offend people. We do it in a way that no matter what your religion is, you can come in Mary Kay and sell. But so many people have been brought to Jesus through Mary Kay. And Mary Kay has blessed this. I mean, the God has blessed this company. So other companies, when they hear about this, they try to incorporate it into theirs. And she said, it don't work. It don't work because we have 63 years of doing this. It's something that we truly believe, and it has stood the test of time, where other companies are trying to throw it in there, and it doesn't seem as real and as authentic as Mary Kay. Is that not something to think about? All right, the second thing, she said, we have the most educated, best prepared sales force in the world. She's, when I tell y'all, when I hear Mary Kay directors speak on stage, Mary Kay National speak on stage compared to other companies, she said, y'all just wouldn't even believe it. She says, everybody wants us. People, why do you think, people call other like top directors and nationals and try to get them into other companies? Because we're the best. And I don't say that to be me. I mean, like, our company leaders are well trained, they're well spoken, and they have lots of confidence that other companies want to get. Now, she said, not that there's not some good speakers in other companies, but as a general rule. She said the loyalty in Mary Kay, it doesn't compare with other companies. The culture of Mary Kay, the future thinking. She said, our story is so deep. In Mary Kay, we unfold stories, and other companies unfold stats. And it makes a difference with a woman's psyche. Do y'all agree? The Mary Kay motivation, recognition and inspiration is like no other. She said that sometimes somebody will give her a piece of paper and say, okay, this is what we're going to do for him. So how can we motivate him? And she said, I honestly look at there and think, I wouldn't work for that. Like she said, we don't realize what we have in Mary Kay. And when you're out and you're looking at other companies, then you really realize it. So I just wanted to say that. And the last thing she says, I believe God chose Mary Kay to start this company and was the vehicle. And that's why we're still in business. And that's why everybody wants to be like us. And that's why we're number one. So I just wanted, if I don't say anything else tonight, I hope that encourages you. It really encouraged me and it just got me fired up. Okay. So that was one of the things. We are the fix. This was one of the things that Gloria talked about. And after she talked to this, she said, now our company needs us, the leaders. We need to stop complaining. And so I say that with love. All of us have had times we've complained, right? We don't want to be known as complainers, but when Mary Kay changes something, don't we complain? And she said, don't think, she goes, this is always going on. It's just because of social media, we never knew it. She said, but I remember when they had a big meeting and they said we were going online and everybody was freaking out that, the nationals, they were going online. We didn't know what online meant, right? And then, doing the CDS and all the different things. She goes, there's been so many learning curves and there's one going on right now that's going to happen next week, right? With e-commerce and the My Shop. She goes, we're going to make it. We're going to make it. But we have been complaining a lot about the change. She says, and I remember I was at a table and they had the new body care on the table with a big sheet over it. She goes, and they tore it off and unveiled it and showed the all new body care. She said, and y'all know how Gloria is. She goes, and I'm like, why? I like the old body care. And so you guys, change has been going around for 60 something years. It just put it in perspective for us that there's always going to be some things that change. I mean, I'm sure when they got rid of the mask that you had to mix with water, people had to come apart for a little while, right? So we're going to be fine. And then she said, you need to decide. She's talking to the leaders, and these are the top of the people. And there's about 250 directors and nationals in there. She said, you got to decide if you're staying or are you leaving. If you're staying, then you're the fix. You're the one that's going to fix it. You're the one that's going to start encouraging people. You're going to go out there and book, sell, and recruit like you know how to. If you're going to leave, go ahead and leave because you're hurting us. You're hurting the business. And I thought, just I like people to tell it like it is. She said we need to increase our image. She was like, I don't care if you do your Mary Kay pants or a dress, but you need to increase your image. She said, you got a dirty bathroom. You're trying to do just said like you're on a live and your background and your samples and all your stuff is nasty, and then how you look. She goes, people used to look up to us when we would go out and about. And so that was a great reminder about your image. She said, show up as the superstar you already are. Quit chasing and start looking for strong women. Quit chasing people, begging people, and start looking for strong women. It's you, the new, and the few. And if you don't have any new, then you double the few. You're doubled. And then you work with yourself. You got to go get some, right? So I thought it was so good. So good. All right. Okay. The next thing is I want to show you this. When we got there, we had a wonderful meeting and we had a welcome dinner. And it's this beautiful place. They had this big swimming pool that was all heated, and they had this big video of Mary Kay in the background going on. And then we were eating this place called the Peak. And then when we came in, they had everybody write down what they came for. One word, 250 people. And then during the conference, if you received something, what you came for, or maybe something somebody else came for, you were to go to the board and mark it out. And then they put this picture in our recap and said, only God could do this. That, almost every single thing was marked out. They got what they came for. I thought these were the hostesses, Ari Hathaway, Kristen Sharp, and Kim McClure. So it's pretty awesome. I want to tell you about this picture. This is a picture they started with a story, and I don't know if it was Kristen or I think it was Pam. I can't remember which one was told till it doesn't really matter. But this was a group of top directors that Mary Kay selected, $1 million directors, and they all came to Mary Kay's home. And every single one of these ladies except for one who passed away, became a national sales director. Every single one of them. She brought them in. When they did 1 million, they brought you to Dallas. They flew you in a helicopter. This is back in the day. Mary Kay went to dinner with you at this swanky restaurant. They also flew your whole family in to see everything you were getting. And then she had a meeting with all of these girls. And if you look at them, here's Gloria Mayfield Banks down here. This is Kathy Bill right here, Cheryl Steinman, Lisa Madsen is back here. I mean, you can see Pam Shaw, Linda Jackson, all these gals became national sales directors. I thought it was a awesome picture just to see how they said, oh, we would do it for Mary Kay,
Show your daughter how much you love her with this beautiful gift. It says, "To my daughter, never forget that I love you."
Okay, this was a picture of Lisa Madsen, and she said when she did her, this was one of her best years, and she said when she came off the stage after she had done 1 million, that Mary Kay, she dropped her name tag, or somehow it came off the next day, like when she was marching across doing the $1 million march or whatever, and then the staff, Mary Kay said, "Give me that name tag," and she said, "You can come. I'll give it back to you." And I think she said when you, I don't know if when you do 1 million or when you become a national, I really can't remember in that office. I can't remember the exact story, but whatever it was, y'all, the next year was when Mary Kay had the stroke, and she couldn't talk anymore. And she allowed Lisa to come to her house and presented her with that name tag because she met the goal Mary Kay had set for her. She thinks, she says, "I think I'm the only one that got to go to her house after that happened to her." And even though Mary Kay couldn't speak to her, they took this picture and she gave her her name tag back, because she had reached that goal. And so anyway, it was just a beautiful story. Lisa is fixing to retire, Mary Kay, Lisa Madsen, as a National Sales Director Emeritus. And she was just so full of emotion for the whole entire conference. She really was. It was really amazing. And she's earned $17 million in Mary Kay. She's the #1 earner right now. Hello. She used to work at a place called Farm and Fleet, and she laughs that she wore an apron that had somebody else's name on it, not even her own name. So that's where she came from. Okay, this is from Brittany Jinks. Brittany Jinks is a national sales director. She's a newer national, and see, I just wrote some of the quotes that they said. She talked about how if you have a train on a track, to keep it from rolling, you can just put a small brick, and it'll stop a massive train just from rolling. If it's, the train is stopped, let's put it on there. And then she said, of course, when you get momentum and the train could, just go right through, I don't even know what she said, but like the biggest, oak tree car, whatever, it just go right through. You can't stop a train, right? But she said, what little brick is right there stopping you from getting your goals? Some little something that's stopping you. She said, have you gotten sloppy? How do you look? Are you looking people in the eye when you're talking to them? She goes, it means so much when you meet someone. We always were taught right eye, right eye. You have your right hand, you shake their hand, and you look at their right eye. So you're looking dead at somebody, and it makes a difference. Instead of talking to people, looking up there, that you can't make eye contact. She said, you need to tunnel the one source that's going to help you reach your goals, and that is God. You've got to tunnel God. And she was a great speaker. I absolutely loved hearing Brittany talk. Sarah, and some of them talk more than once. Sarah Ann Fortin, she is a national sales director from Canada, the #1 national right now. And some of the things she talked about, she says, don't think passion will bring action. It's action that brings passion to your goals. Sometimes we're waiting for passion, to get passionate, so then we start working, but that's not how it works. So some of you that hadn't had a party in a while, once you do a party, you're going to get back fired up. So don't wait till you're fired up to do a party. Do a party to get fired up. Does that make sense? She talked a lot about visualizing your winning moment. If it's being on stage, maybe the Queen's Court of Sales, or getting your Bumblebee for the first time, or becoming a sales director, or winning a Cadillac, in our case, doing the $1 Million Club, visualize it every single day till you see yourself doing it. She said, listen to powerful music every morning. And she would listen to the one, I think it was I Am a Champion or I Am Unstoppable. And, every morning with her unit, and they would listen to it, and they finished million for the first time. I think it was the middle of June, before the month was even over, and how they were so excited about it. And so she was very impactful. Ari Hathaway, she talked about the emotional cycle, how you have to recommit like a marriage. She talked about how long she'd been married. She said, when you say I do at the altar, it's not just, flowers and roses the rest of your married life. You have to recommit every time they get on your nerves. You have to recommit to the marriage. Every time they do something you think that is so stupid, but you recommit and you recommit and you recommit, because there is cycles in life, and in your business you have to recommit as well. There may be things that you don't like that Mary Kay did. They took away your favorite lipstick, but we're going to have that emotional cycle. We're going to recommit. Okay. She said time is a gift, and remember that inspiration is high when distractions are low, and when distractions are high, inspiration is low. So think about that. And she said distractions are what makes you feel divided or diverted. She said we don't have Mary Kay problems, we have a social problem. Everybody is distracted. Do y'all believe that? Y'all can put it in the chat. And she said to write down the 3 things that distract you the most. And you know what most people did? They lifted up their phone. It's a blessing and a curse, right? I mean, we love it, but it's so distracting. And she said other things can distract you, your past, bitterness, resentfulness. And the devil knows what distracts you, and he uses it. He uses it to distract you. So look at what distracts you the most. Maybe write it down and see how you could get a hold of those distractions so that you could be more inspired to work your Mary Kay business. The $1 million panel was there was about 5 directors that had done million that were up there, and I'm not telling you who all said what, because they were all just talking. So these are just some of the quotes I got. Was learn to let go of control and learn to delegate. And one of the gals that said, if they can do it 70% as good as you, then you need to delegate it. You can do something that makes a difference. So a lot of us, we're picky about what needs to be done, and so delegation is important. She asked, what would keep you from reaching your goal? And a lot of times she said, let's say for us, if it's $1 million, you say, well, if I don't do $1 million, it's probably going to be because, you already know what it is. And so whatever the goal is, if you're trying to become a sales director, say, if I don't make it, it's going to be because, what's going to keep you from doing it? Some people might say something like, well, it's because my kids, blah, 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 my husband, blah, 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 my mom, my health, my whatever. So go ahead and get a hold of whatever you think is going to stop you and figure it out. Because everybody that has done million, there's people there that have had health problems, that have taken care of their moms and done it, that have lots of children, no children, husbands, no husbands. I mean, you just name it. It's everybody. Whatever you have, there's somebody that had the same thing and did it anyway. One of the things they talked about is be ruthless in prioritization. Get your priorities straight of really that 6 most important things, what you're going to do the next day, and stick with it like a beast. Good habits, being in the 5 o'clock club, if that's your thing. Not all of them, that's their thing. Okay. A 4-mile walk in the morning, plug into the Bible. Tandy Fisher was talking about those that she does that really helps her day. One thing to build momentum as a sales director, and really someone trying to do a team, is have a goal of how many agreements you want each month. Write down a track and then start counting them down. If it's 20, have 20 to number 1, and you count them down as you get them each month, and obsess about unit size and about team building. Trash your home with goals and scriptures. Trash your home with goals and scriptures. So everywhere you look, you're reminded of what you said you were going to do. She said, Mary Kay, one of them said, Mary Kay can become our escape in stressful times of our lives. There's so many of us that have gone through death, divorce, loss of job, illness, and our Mary Kay is something we can just kind of shut off all that and work our Mary Kay and let it be that escape for you. I know it's been that for me in a lot of different times where, I'm going through something. I'm like, well, let me just go do my Mary Kay meeting. And I just, for 2-3 hours, I can just get my little happy spot. Does that make sense? So let it be that for you.
Why you should never get a dog once you hit 60 years old. My friends made fun of me when I ordered this AI companion dog.
Pam Shaw She's amazing. National Sales Director Emeritus. Couple things that she said is inspiration without implementation is useless. So you may be inspired after this call, but if you do nothing about anything you heard, and I say that to myself too, it's useless. She said, two enemies Satan used is deception and accusation. And one of the things she had to do, she said, how would Jesus introduce you to others? So she talked about when Jesus met Nathaniel and he saw him at the tree, and he said, you'll be you'll be fishers of men. And that there was in all of Israelite, there was no, there was in all of Israel, there's a man with no guile. In other words, and Nathaniel was like, how do you know this? Because I saw you at the tree. And then he says, oh, you're Jesus Christ, Son of God. And he says, you believe that just because I saw you at the tree? He says, you're going to see way greater things than this, Nathaniel. And so she asked us, how would Jesus introduce you to other people? And think about that. She said, transformation calls you to lead differently. Your life is a word that God spoke at one time, and you want to get rid of limiting beliefs like, it's too late, I'm too old, I'm too young, it's just not happening, whatever. And she said, figure out what you're holding on to that you need to let go of, and what does Jesus say you are? And, we had to just close our eyes. I'm not saying it near as inspirational as Pam did, because it was a moment like, close your eyes and pray for the Lord to tell you what your limiting belief is. And then how would the Lord introduce you? What does he say about you? And that's the truth you stand on. It was very powerful. Amy Allgood, National Sales Director, she said, God, cares about less about what we accomplish and more about how we make others feel and how we impact them with his love. She led a worship service on the second night we were there. It was amazing. And she said, Jesus washed feet. He started on the floor, and then before he got to the podium, he washed feet. And she said, we wash faces, be willing, be available, and ready for our next assignment. And they played a song, Lord, send me. Yes, Lord, yes. And Lord, send me. And she said, before, and look, I got mistakes in saying, it's supposed to say, before you ask me, my answer is yes. And so it was a really amazing worship service. Can y'all see that these women love God? And I mean, every single speech I was just anointed. I'm not even kidding. Okay, Kim McClure. I know I'm talking fast. Kim McClure talked about strongholds, fight you and resist the truth. And it says Satan is an opportunist. He's looking for a crack he can get into. She talked about what is a stronghold in your life. A stronghold speaks to your identity, like I'll always, something negative about yourself. It says it persists despite evidence to the contrary, despite how you're praying. It promotes a lie, and it contradicts scripture about God. And then she talked about there's 5 R's to break strongholds. And I want to mention these, and I will post this next page also on Cheetah Nation so y'all can see it. But one is you invite the Holy Spirit to surface the lie or argument that is the stronghold in your life. Ask him. Okay. Then you recognize it, call it out, and name it. Then you repent, you turn away and submit. Then you renounce it, you break agreement with it in Jesus' name, and you close the door. And then you replace and repattern. Just declare scripture over your life. And to give you an idea, this is a sheet I will post on Cheetah Nation, but it was talking about, let's say the stronghold is fear. The opposite kingdom quality would be perfect love, power, sound mind, and then there's a scripture. These are some of the most common ones. Let's say the stronghold was pride. Okay, the opposite kingdom quality is humility. If it's going down, like maybe it's unbelief or doubt, the opposite kingdom quality is faith. And so this was really wonderful because you know what we learned is that the women in that room, we all know what to do. There wasn't one person there that does not know how to book, sell, and recruit, or we wouldn't even be there. You had certain qualifications, or you couldn't even attend that thing. Okay, so what's stopping you from where you need to be is a stronghold. It's something you don't believe about yourself. So it was, you talk about head games or head work, mindset. It really was, and it was really powerful, you guys. Kristen Sharp told us that there was only, because it's $1 million reunion, right? There's only 217 directors in the entire 62 years in Mary Kay that have achieved $1 million. And those 217 directors, their units, produced $559 million in production. Is that not incredible? And, she really had us commit because y'all know I've been, moving to million, right? And so she talked about Kit and Commit, which we have talked about this, not last week, but the week before. But she said something that you may not know, that only 60% of the women that join Mary Kay, I don't know if it's been since they started out with the E-Start, they just did the E-Start and did not get the Pro Kit. And so that's why they came up with this Kit and Commit to get people back, on the kitchen table and doing some faces. All right. To book 8, hold 5. And I wanted to let you know that December the 29th is going to be the special call that you're going to get on by Jennifer Cook, who is Mary Kay's personal assistant, when you do the Kit and Commit. All right. And she talked about keeping it simple, sweetie. And when you start getting things too crazy, you just go and you just remind yourself, kiss, 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 keep it simple. Don't get it all confusing so that you can be duplicatable. Let me see what time it is. Let me see what page I'm on to. I can't tell. Okay. I'm going to go on just a minute more. Can y'all give me 10 minutes? Everybody give me 10 minutes. Y'all can tell me in the chat. If y'all need to go, you can. Okay. But there's a couple things I want to get to. Sonia Paez, she talked about 6 areas of mindset, and she talked about goals, your belief system to believe in God, that you're here for a reason. You'll see there's kind of a thread through the whole thing. Financial goals, you need to generate money to pay for something special. Several of them talked about they wanted to make money. Brittany Jinks talking about to put her kids in a Christian school. That's what she wanted to make the money for. Your support system, who's in your corner. Everybody needs someone to believe in them. You need to learn the business, learn the new, develop your leaders one-on-one, learn the career path, know where you are, where you want to go. Pray for each other, believe in your leaders, and believe in yourself. Cheryl Steinman is the National Sales Director Emeritus. She's my friend. I've known her for years and years. She's talked about building on who you are and build on the mistakes that you have made. Build on your success, and you are who you think you are. And she said, you are what you seek, and you are what you imagine. Talk to people. She had a goal to write 10 notes a day and talk to 10 people a day. She goes, I still do. And she said, I can't tell you there are 10 different people every single day. She goes, I live in Pigeon, Michigan. But she said, I just think of people. She goes, and if I run out of people to call, she goes, I would look at my printout and I would say, okay, I hadn't talked to her in a while. And she'd say, she would call them and say, you walked across my thoughts today. And she would talk to them and ask them about their family, their husband. She established a relationship with her team. And that's why they were with her for 40 years, and just really make those connections. Gloria also talked about, they asked her about how she did million and what her people expected of her. And she said a couple of things that she did, push hard. And she'd ask her consultants and her leaders, are you comfortable being pushed to make you grow? And to be independent, to know your business in and out, to stop judging by your last outcome. Just because the last thing didn't work, that doesn't mean you're not doing it right. It doesn't. She said, like, if you do an interview and you get a recruit, you're like, oh, yeah, I must have did it right. And if you do an interview and you don't get a recruit, then you might say, oh, I must have did it wrong. No, that's not the case. Everybody's different, right? Be accountable. She says, make money, not just friends and memories. That's a hobby. Learn to speak from a mic to gain your confidence. Learn the art of inspiration and persuasion. Stop talking about what you want until you can talk about your skills that you have to do it. And then she did this. She said she had a call and she put a tablecloth over her head. Now, this is going to step on some toes. And they're like, well, what are you doing, Gloria? And she says, this is what y'all look like when you don't have your camera on. And she just said, back in the day, we started with pantyhose, okay? High heel shoes, pantyhose, skirt, jacket, hair, and went to a hotel to the sales meeting. And now all you got to do is from here up, make yourself look decent and have your camera on. And she said, it's ridiculous that you don't care enough about your Mary Kay to do that. Now, I know I just stepped on toes, but I'm just telling you what she said, okay? And if you think about it, she's right. She's right. Okay. Pam Shaw talked about, she said, first of all, she goes, I want to take any shame out of the room thus far, what you did or did not do. She said, so quit beating yourself up. And she was talking about, like, if you didn't do virtual, you did do virtual. You haven't done this, you haven't done that. It's a clean slate. She talked about what herd are you running with? Are you running with people who where you want to be? And she talked about her and Gloria and Mona Butters and Cheryl. She said, her and Gloria especially, she said, we were both going for the same goal. She said, but we were running solo, but we were still running together. But like, she wasn't comparing herself to everybody else, and we don't need to either. And she talked about what happened. What habit do you need to start? And she said, you know what it is. If you say to yourself, well, if only I would, or what I really need to do is, she goes, whatever it is that comes in your mind, you know what it is that you need to start doing. And she said, habits will serve you when motivation won't. Frame your day your first 2 hours. What she does is, before she gets on the phone or anything, workout, devotional, quiet time. And the last hour of the day, she plans her tomorrow. And every day she frames her day. She says, believe it or not, I'm not disciplined. I have habits and I have tools that have helped me become, but naturally, I'm not a disciplined person. She says, I know, right? And she said, what's something you need to stop, and what's something you need to stop? She is continuing to say, build something that will last. This starts with the leader. Don't start recruiting. Okay, this really kind of got me. This is one of the things I want to make sure you're here tonight. When you're recruiting people and you said, all you got to do is whatever. All you got to do is give me $35 to sign up, and that's it. That's all you got to do. Or you only have to, she said, it's minimalizing and just like cutting the whole opportunity down to like, just like not even worth nothing. She said, that's not a strong leader. A leader goes all in, roots down, wings up. I'm your leader. I'm going to take you places. This is where we're going. So be confident when you're recruiting people. She said, we worry too much about not recruiting them, that they're going to leave. Like, then showing your confidence in this company to the leaders that would really want to run with it, So don't minimalize the opportunity. Does that make sense? So if you ever say that, well, all you have to do is, and then we get them in and we expect them to do more. That ain't going to happen usually, right? So we got to come in with the worker bees. Mona Butters talked about casting the vision to your team and equipping them to sell. She talked about when the Mary Kay had a thing where if you did a 10-show week, or $1,000 week, you got to get your picture made with Mary Kay Ash. And she said, you would not believe the people that lined up to do this. Which she said, well, I know we can't do that today, but I'm just saying this is back in the day when the basic was $20-something. And they do 10 parties and they sell 1,000 just to get their picture made with Mary Kay. And she said she followed Mary Kay Ash, whatever she said Mona did. She totally trusted, and she never wanted to disappoint Mary Kay. Lisa Madsen, she's retiring. She's very emotional because she's retired in January. She said Mary Kay knew people were her most important asset. Faith the size of the mustard seed moves mountain, that God just needs your mustard seed, just a little bit of faith. And then he can do the rest. Build leaders, build confidence, build dreams. And she encouraged us, I won't leave this event the same woman as I was when I walked in. Kristen Myers said some people weather the storm and some people wither. And she talked about send me, Lord. And she talked about grief. And she said grief can come from unmet expectations, a heartache of something changing, your vision having to change. Ask God to renew your vision. You and God are the only two people involved in fulfilling your dream. And she said, have an open hand to receive it, not a closed fist, and that you're the answer to someone's real prayer. She did, I think it was this her that, yeah, she did share these stats. I tell you what, for lack of time, I will post these stats on Cheetah Nation, and it was really impactful about how, what's happening in the world today and why people are going to really be drawn to selling Mary Kay to make money. Okay, so I will post those stats. Ari talked about that Mary Kay gives us, she goes, all I need is Mary Kay Corporate to give me three things: a fabulous products, which that we have, a great marketing plan, and seminar with all the recognition, prizes, diamond rings, and me to get to wave on stage. She said, we, the sales force, are the keepers of the dream. If we have to level up, it's not a competition that we collect. She said, I collect people. I don't compare or compete. And that she shares the marketing plan at every appointment. It goes together like shampoo and conditioner. You cannot do one without the other, because we sell hope, vision, and an opportunity to others. And then she shared this marketing sheet that I already posted on Cheetah Nation, that the thing that impressed me the most about this sheet, she talks about the income, 50%. She goes, I didn't even put the 30% on there. I just did 50%, the career car, team building, the financial freedom, flexibility, information, fun, friends. You can look at all this. But the main thing that got me was this right here. She goes, I go over this. Yearly sales estimates. The average beauty experience with approximately 4 guests, $100 a guest, is $400 in sales. The average customer reorders is $200 a year. Okay, I know all y'all can agree with that, and I think that's low totals. If you had 5 parties a week, okay, or you can just start at 1. If you had 1 party a week, 1 show or party a week, that 2 to 4 hours, that would be $400 a week times 50 weeks is $20,000 a year. 200 customers times $200 a year is $40,000 in reorders. That's $60,000 in sales. Your profit is $30,000. 3 shows a week, it would be $90,000. 5 shows a week, $150,000. You guys, if you show the profit of how you make money in this business, why aren't you making this? It's because we're not doing 1 show every single week, right? You're not doing 3 shows every single week. We do 1 every now and then, right? So, and then of course she has on here the to join Mary Kay is 125. She said, I just put the 125 because they need the kit to do parties. Otherwise, if they come in with an e-start, she goes, they don't need a business coach for e-start. I mean, there's no inventory. I mean, you're just going to sell online, right? It's pretty good. Okay, Daisha said 8 things she learned. She did it afraid. She's fixing to retire too. She did it afraid. She was 22 years old, the youngest $1 million director. She worked hard as if she was the only one to pay the bills. She loved people fiercely. She was flexible. She recognized others' gifts. She was open to sisterhood, relationships. She stopped taking things personally. Someone wanted to leave. She didn't take it personal. She believed God had big things for her in her life. And don't rush the season you're in. Brittany talked about discovering God's that reveals truth to you didn't know you were missing. She said, inconvenience is where miracles happen. It reignites us. I am allowed to pivot when needed, like COVID. She said, I always did. Y'all might think of Brittany as the virtual queen, but she said, I always did 30 faces a month for 15 years. I did 30 faces face to face. But when COVID hit, she learned how to do it virtual. And she did the big Facebook parties, sending out all the samples. She said, but when you learn to pivot, 1 foot is on solid ground. You don't move for any reason, but you pivot to take the shot. She said, so I pivoted and learned. She said, this is a new season though. And you can still do virtual, but face-to-face builds trust and human connection that digital sometimes cannot. A goal with a deadline changes lives. She talked about the kit and commit. Virtual connects the head, in-person connects the heart. And what are your best personal strengths where you operate the best? And it may be virtual, it may be both. People remember 70% of what they experience, see, hear, and touch. A facial is 7 times more memorable than a live or a video. Okay. And I'm about finished, y'all. Dawn Sweeney, she's one of my wonderful friends and mentors. She closed us out with, we are the Nehemiahs and the Esthers. It's not easy or convenient. Mary Kay charged us with this responsibility. God confidence is what we need. And she just stood up there and said, thank you, Jesus, for this company. And had people stand if you're closer to Jesus because of Mary Kay. And the whole room stood up. She talked about the parable of the talents, that God is concerned with your faithfulness. How will you answer if you don't do what God called you to do when your time is up? How are you going to answer that? God is asking you to be obedient with the little things before he trusts you with more. And it's not what you do, but how you think that makes a difference. Be undistractable and unoffendable. Be obsessed with being God-led. It's a spiritual warfare. You're a warrior, act like one. We're not desperate. God does not make mistakes. Trust in the Lord and lean not into your own understandings. Then she showed this dollar bill that Mary Kay wrote, that parable of the talents, Matthew 25:14-30, and signed it. And that was prizes that she gave. I got one in my cabinet right over here. And I believe the rest is just a few little pictures and we'll be done. This is a picture of the chateau. This was a video, but it didn't. It didn't go up right here. I just want to show you Miss Pinky, my car. Just got a new little, never been in the snow before. So this is some pictures of all the snow. It was amazing. These are some of the speakers. This is Kristen Sharp. This is the $1 million National Sales Director Emeritus panel. These are some of the $1 million directors. This was the interview with Gloria and Ari. some of our Bible study directors. We have directors of Bible study, and some of the ones that in our group that got to go. Uh, they had a picture of Mary Kay. And so Brad and I took a little picture of Mary Kay. These were Cheryl Steinman and Dacia Mona Butters, Kim McClure, Dawn, Lisa Matson, and Dawn. And they had this tunnel of lights we drove through. It was long and it was beautiful and it was freezing, but the shuttle driver stopped and let us all get out and take pictures. Isn't that gorgeous? These are some more pictures of some of the speakers. And our guys, several of the guys they out and went clay shooting, skeet shooting, and Brad said it was just amazing how much fun that they had. So, you know what? Your guys can get involved as well. Don't forget about the kit and commit. Okay. There's a Christmas message. I'm not going to read that because it is, I did put it on Cheetah Nation. And I just want to end with this, that you are also invited. You're invited to join us at the top of Mary Kay. I'm not at the top of Mary Kay. I was invited to sit at the feet of people that were at the top this weekend. But I want you to know there's a seat at that table for you. Whether you're a new consultant, whether you're a new director, and you're just getting going, it's for all of us. And it's up to us if we decide to take advantage of this Mary Kay opportunity. And so, you guys, that's 47 minutes of talking. And I'm sorry it was so long. I had a lot to say, but I wanted to share to you my takeaways. There were several classes. They did breakout classes, so I only spoke to my class. And so I had the recording, so I'll listen to some of the other ones and maybe share some more later. But I'm going to stop the recording, but I will open it up to any questions.
Well, there you have it. Some amazing training. I just had to share it because it was amazing. I hope you took notes. Facebook will only let my video stay up for 30 days and then it will be gone. Just know that a lot of things, this Saturday, tomorrow night, actually, we have Janice Trude's skincare class at 6 p.m. And then on Thursday, we have the live sharing event. When customers get on these events, they actually get entered in to win. Like tomorrow, Kate Spade and Michael Kors bags and stuff, or, wallets and all the things. But on Thursday, they give away e-starts. So get people on these events. I'm on there. I actually try to get people on myself to be on there because I want my people to win also. And then on Saturday, we're doing faces here at 11 and at 1. So I hope you get somebody to come Saturday at 11 or at 1. But RSVP. I think that's it for now, you guys. Go out and make it an eventful, pack your rest of the week up with stuff. Go get your weekly plan sheet together, your 6 most important lists for tomorrow. Get it written down. What do you need to do? One more thing. Facebook Messenger parties. I did one for Lois the other day. And so I'm thinking about doing a training on them. And I know that there's several people that wanted to learn how to do it. And it's kind of a in-person. I mean, you have to watch what I do when I post, but I will need to do a party. I might do a fake test party or something on Facebook. So, they can watch me post how I do the posting. If you're interested in learning how to do a Facebook Messenger party, please reach out to me, comment below, send me a text, call me, email me, one of the ways. Okay? Okay, you guys have a great evening. I'm going to stop the recording.